consumers across the country have been flooding shops and supermarkets in search of the cheap maize, or rather the cheap unga that President William Ruto announced that was retailing at 159 and 150 Kenyan shillings. And to their disappointment, that unga seems to be only existing in social media pages of politicians. The only thing existing are the photos. One of the brands is the one that people are talking about. For me, I have been trying to put my pieces together. I didn't want to rush with this topic. Personally, I went to a supermarket, and this was a supermarket in Eastleigh. And someone, I don't want to mention this supermarket, but I went there after one of the people who work there tried to ask to find out. We go and search the pricing when they bring stock, because he was telling me first, the last 3 days we were selling stock that we had before. So when I went, these are the prices I saw, and exclusively they could not get. Told me we could not get that one that is retailing at 150. I have established that really that 160 or 160 unga that is retailing at that price, we've not seen it. Personally, I have not seen it. If you've seen it, maybe you can challenge me. The retailers are saying they're only having the previous stock, and even those who are now stocking, they cannot find it. And the brand is this one here. Umi. Me and you are seeing it for the first time. There have been Umi and Ajab. They have been able, and according to what the government has announced, or what the position of the government, because people have asked, why is it that they have reduced? What has made them to this? Or what is the magic? Then the government is saying they have reduced their prices because of government's intervention of removing importation tax on the maize. And remember, the tax has been reduced, and a unga that was retailing at 130 drops at 260. Is it realistic for economists? Is it realistic? A change of 30, of 90, how much? A change of 70 shillings. Some economists told me, Kevin, if it was that the tax has been removed, only that, because there are other factors that are involved there, grinding, crushing it, grinding and repackaging and transport and distribution, which comes at a cost. I think the margin is a bit huge. 170 shillings margin, maybe. I don't want to doubt or you'll find optimistic. But then, if you look at that, it shows that it was manufactured on 9th December and it's expiring on 20th April. So that's the contradiction. That it's not even that it was done today or the other day, that was on 20th December. And let me tell you, the story about the cheap maize is a movie. And take time and listen to this analysis to the end. I am going to give you details. I've really taken my time to make sure I put these pieces together. You know where we are coming from, and I want to give you the picture. I tell you that at the end of it, you will really get to understand. Before we get into that, I want to remind you about our fundraiser that we're going on for the masses support. We are finishing it on Sunday, and now what's remaining is 51,000. And that is on supporting the husband's motorbike, because the first one of Mercy we'd really done. And so we're still reaching out to you with 50 shillings challenge. For those who can support, if you give 150, you sponsor 2 or 3. I believe that with 50,000, if we get 50 divided by 50, how many people? 500 people, okay? I know we can achieve it. It's 500 people, 100 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. Yes, 1,000 people by 100 will get 50,000. May God really help us through. The number is pinned up there. And I'm going to share with you the video of the couple towards the end of this video. So make sure you watch for those who have not seen what exactly happened. Now, it all started here.
Even the rains that are going on are not to our satisfaction. We don't have good news for our what you call MAM, March, April, May rains. One is that we have so many things that can kill us in this country. Being in this country, you are a candidate for death. And because there's so many things competing for death, there's nothing wrong with adding GMO to that list. That is why we have deliberately decided to allow GMOs into this country until we are satisfied that we have enough maize in this country, our staple food. Tomorrow I'm signing a gazette notice to allow for importation of up to 10 million bags of maize, duty-free, for the next 6 months.
Now, this was Moses Kuria in defense of the GMO at the height of the GMO debate, defending GMO and saying how government had decided that because, and that by that time, the reasoning was that there is cheap maize that we can get, so we only need to do duty-free and we'll get it to fill our deficit. Now, the argument was we don't, our rains pattern of rains are worrying. We don't have enough in the month of March and April, and again we didn't have a reserve, so we had a deficit. The 10 million bags that Moses Kuria is talking about were actually a deficit that we normally have in the country. Now, true to it, we raised questions why Moses Kuria, while the CS who is in charge of agriculture is Linturi. And on 23rd December, Mithika Linturi gazetted calls for traders to import duty-free maize from other countries, and this was after the GMO debate was settled. And it was settled at a point where the president was saying, hakuna mtu akikula jamii hamei matiti or something. So this importation, I wanted to get it. This importation was supposed to commence in March. Remember, in March is when we were expecting what we have, the maize that we had in the country, to be depleted. So it was to start in March. I want to tell you why March. So when that order came, what happened? Government gave farmers, while they are waiting for the maize, for the duty-free maize, they were begging farmers to make sure that they release the maize they are having, so that government can buy that maize, or rather that maize can be sold to millers, because when the duty-free maize will arrive, it will flood the market and it will affect the prices. Remember, the problem has ever been that millers are holding the maize, expecting to release it when the prices are favorable, or rather when the prices are high, because they didn't want to release. Government is under pressure to lower the cost of maize, or rather the cost of Unga. But then they said they didn't want to release it until. And if you think, what I wanted to get here is, this is a video of the truthful man Rigathi Gachagua speaking in Uasin Gishu, begging farmers to release the maize. I wanted to get it.
Kwa hivyo ningetaka kuchukua nafasi hii nikiwa kiongozi wenu ambaye anampenda kushauri wakulima, msingojee mahindi toke nje kwa sababu itaharibu soko. Yale mahindi yote mko nayo kwa store, kuanzia leo saa 8 muachilie kwa ile bei iko, kwa sababu ni bei nzuri. Mukishindwa kufanya hivyo, mutapatwa na ile mahindi ya kutoka nje na bei ya mahindi itateremuka mkiwa na mahindi kwa store. Kwa hivyo sisi tukua viongozi wenu ambaye wanampenda, wanamshughulikia, tunashauri nyinyi leo nikiwa hapa kwa niaba ya rais wetu, kwa niaba wa serikali yetu ya UDA na Kenya Kwanza, tafadhali wakulima katika hapa Uasin Gishu, pande ya Kitale, pande ya Nakuru, pande ya Kakamega, tafadhali muachilie mahindi ile iko kwa soko, bei iko sawa, iko mzuri, ndio muweze kuweka hiyo pesa kwa bank, mujipange nayo pale mbele. Lakini lazima tutaharishe nyinyi, kwa sababu sisi ni watu ya kuongea ukweli, na lazima tuongee ukweli. Mukikaa na hiyo mahindi kwa store, mutapatwa na yale itatoka nje ya baini ya bei ya chini, kwa sababu itakuja bila ushuru na mtakuwa na matatizo. Kwa hivyo namuomba kwa heshima mkubali, muachilie mahindi.
So I wanted you to get it. This was in the month of February Rigathi Gachagua was speaking in Uasin Gishu. Remember, the Gazette was done for traders to import duty-free was done in December. So all through up till January, the reason why they said that the duty-free maize should start arriving in March is because that window was to give farmers opportunity, or rather to release the maize. But I want to tell you something. It's been a pressure to release the maize. Now the millers said they could not find cheap maize, and this was the report. Even after government telling them to go and import the maize, they did not import. This went towards the end of February. They could not import because there was no cheap maize outside there. So they were going to import at a higher price, and that means they would retail. And I remember analyzing, those who follow the bold, I remember analyzing that if the maize outside there to the European nation was, they were going to buy a 90 kg at 6,000. That means back home, if you include the cost of value addition, that is just grinding, packaging, and then distribution, it could retail even the Unga at 240. So they said there is no cheap maize outside there. And the reason being, there is the Russian war that has created sanctions, and Russia is one of the largest, greatest, in the top 5 grain producers, or rather exporters from Europe. So until the end of January, there was no cheap maize, including the Comesa free trade area, free trade market, where the government found themselves in a very difficult place until they even had to look. There was maize, I think there was maize in South Africa, but there was a competition for that maize. Kenya had entered into that competition with Angola and Rwanda. And then, remember, we sent Linturi, but I want to look at that. I want to look at that hapa mbele kidogo. What happened in March, first week, Rigathi Gachagua held an interview with joint media interview, and when he was asked about the question of maize, the truthful man was very truthful. There is no cheap maize out there. Listen to that.
Your government has a strategy to import cheap maize, free duty maize, by end of February. And even the CS for Agriculture Medical in Turi, including Moses Korea of Trade, they're on record saying it. But now, after the end of, we are now in March, there is no importation of cheap maize. Kenyans are waiting for this.
Yes.
Where is the maize?
It's good you have asked that question. The maize is not available anywhere in the world. The CS for Agriculture and the PS, the Honorable Mithika Linturi, were in Zambia, which produces maize, and there is no maize available. The only maize that is available in South Africa, and we are in competition with Angola and Rwanda for the same maize. The maize in Brazil, bringing it here because of the distance, the cost is too high. We decided as a government that the government is not going to import any maize directly because we don't want corruption. And the government doesn't want to get involved in importation directly because we don't want scandals. We don't want people in government.
That was truthful man saying, hakuna mahindi. So as by first week of March, there was no maize, and that was, remember I had said the importation was supposed to start the first week of March, but all along the government was holding there is no maize and were calling on the farmers to release the maize they had. Now, the very last week to April, out of the blues, President William Ruto and the Agriculture CS were speaking in one voice and saying that we are expecting maize the first week of April. Remember, now all along towards the end of March, we've found maize, we are going to import maize, and it's going to lower the prices. And I remember President announcing it. I wanted to get that because I wanted to see the way goalposts have been changing. Until then, to the last time, maize came from somewhere, and of course we've not been told where, but this is what happened. I wanted to see the way things have changed. So questions are, where did we finally get the maize from? And is it practical that if you reduce the duty free, of course there is no cheap maize. Let's take the position of Gachagua that there is no cheap maize. So the price is reducing because of the tax. If you remove the tax, can it influence the margin by 70 shillings? because the cost of energy is still stuck, and transport and packaging, let's say, they remain constant. So the tax margin, can it influence a dropping of price from 230 to 160 in just casual, just less than people in business? Is it that possible? How much is the tax? And that's where the question is. There is that which I am seeing here. This was a very well choreographed campaign of praising the government. The tweet, and look at that tweet there. Look at that tweet in your screen. That is a tweet by Hussein Mohammed explaining on how this will be, and they would come out and say that it is according to the millers. I think I need to read for you that tweet there. Unga prices have started going down. That was 3 days ago, just as President William Ruto had assured Kenyans over the weekend. Prices have dropped to 159 and 160 depending on the millers. When the president assumed office last year, a 2 kg packet was retailing at approximately 230. You see, they are saying it's according to the millers, but already the prices has dropped. So there is something I want to say. One of the things about this maize thing that maybe you are not being told. Hili biashara. This is a business. And from where I'm seated here, this analysis one day will be vindicated. Remember the story of oil, where we have government to government approach. Then some three giant oil marketing companies buy that oil from where government has imported it. Then it's sold to the 96 oil marketing companies, the rest. That's what's happening with maize. There is a high probability, and that's what I see, that government contracted one company or some few selected companies. It is the same model with the oil. Few selected companies to import that maize. And after importing the maize, it's then sold to specific, it's injected in the supply chain. High possibility that there is a lot of stakes in this, because the maize crisis, take this from me, the maize crisis is man-made. I don't think William Ruto wants to solve it, because you can still buy maize from farmers. There are millers who have maize, they're just keeping. And the reason why they're not releasing their maize is because of the price. And so, why don't we just negotiate with them in terms of the price and buy maize from them, instead of using these orthodox ways of just trying to, push. Listen to what Linturi was saying. We want to flood the market so that the prices go down and that others will be locked out. And even Rigathi said, this is a man-made crisis. And if you want to know it's a man-made for people to siphon funds and get something. This is the Sky team. Look at how it started. It started with Linturi, with Moses Kuria, who is in trade, is not supposed to be in the maize business. From Moses Kuria, it dragged Linturi's, now Rigathi Gachagua, and the president, and then it's the political arena. So from what I see, if government wanted to reduce, and if it is true that removing the tax can lower the price of maize, then that would be the first thing Ruto would have done last year after kuweka Bible chini. If that was the solution, it's simple math that it sat down and calculated, if I remove this tax, the margin will drop to 150. I can tell you, that thing would have been done. But here, it's some gimmick going on. And then, I think I am against a strategy by UDA just to threaten farmers. What's difficult by sitting down and negotiating, agreeing, this is what we want, we cannot offer this, but let's do. But this situation of, you can't release your maize, I'm going to import many so that I flood the market and I intimidate you, I don't think it's going to thrive, because that is also the same thing happening with the other fuel sector. The impression here was just to deflate the political messages about the cost of living. Take that. That's it. You will have to wait for some time for that Unga to drop. And I don't see the strategy being taken here as sustainable. We must just go to sort our farmers. If we can't negotiate corners, I think UDA is really doing a lot of shortcuts. And these shortcuts, to me, I'm not seeing them heading somewhere. That's my take. And that is the politics of Maize. I hope you've got something. This is the video of the couple that we are fundraising for. So kindly, for those who did not have a glimpse of what happened, now here is that for you, and let's see where this can go. Stephen, you told me that your wife has a challenge. It's not someone, it's someone detained in the hospital, okay?
Yeah.
Can you take us through what exactly happened, or where did it start?
Okay, this started after my wife gave birth at Pumwani Hospital.
Date?
On date 20th February. So after she gave birth, mtoto alikuwa nursery after 5 days. So after 5 days from nursery, we went back home. We were just home, things were well. After some few weeks, then wife got complications. Alianza kubleed, mysteriously bleeding. And I was shocked, ran out to call the doctor, and the doctor told me to bring the lady in the hospital.
Wapi? Unaishi wapi?
Okay, naishi Dandora,
Okay.
phase 5.
Okay.
So daktari alijaribu, akashindwa. The lady was seriously bleeding. Akaniambia nitafute taxi to rush mgonjwa Kenyatta. Nikafanya hivyo, tukafika Kenyatta. Wakati nilifika Kenyatta, mama alikuwa admitted, na from hapo, so
alikuwa admitted sasa Kenyatta.
Alikuwa admitted Kenyatta hospital.
Na wakati alikuwa admitted, the child now, what happened? But the child,
okay,
the child is fine.
By the time,
but then this is the child.
Yeah.
And
this is my baby.
This is your baby. And
yeah.
Ni baby boy and
baby boy. To Jason.
Oh, good. Even my son was born in February. So now, where are you from first?
Okay, right now I'm from the Kenyatta Hospital. Nilipeleka mtoto kunyonya, and that is how I always do it. Nampeleka, ananyonya, namrudisha kwa nyumba.
Unampeleka kila siku?
Daily.
In the morning, ama unakana the whole day?
No. Nampeleka in the evening. In the evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then sasa sasa ukitoka unaenda tu mnalala.
Sasa nikitoka naenda kwa nyumba. So nikiwa pale kwa nyumba, mtoto ana survive na maziwa ya kuchemsha. Nachemsha, naongeza maji kidogo. And that's it.
Wow. You've really impressed me. How about the child? Yeah, alikuwa sawa hata ukitoka Pumwani?
Okay, mtoto wakati tulikuwa tunatoka Pumwani, mtoto since alikunywa ile amniotic fluid, ile uchafu, so mtoto amekuwa na shida hiyo ya kungorota, anangorota. Ni kama anafungana hewa.
Okay.
So doctors gave me some medicine, ile ya kudrop kwa mapua wakati anatoa hiyo sauti. So hiyo ndo nimekuwa nikitumia, but still at times nasikia anatoa hiyo sauti kama
hata sasa nasikia na
hata sasa. Yeah.
What did the doctors in Kenyatta say was the problem?
Doctors in Kenyatta waliniambia mama wakati alizaa kuna vile mtoto alimrarua, they got a tear. So walimshona, alienda theater wakamshona.
Na alizaa normal?
Alizaa normal.
Na tear. Okay. So, anafaa show me or something. Okay.
Yeah.
We may not understand because we don't have a lady here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was what was bringing the complication about the bleeding.
Yeah.
Guys, I was told this, and I really got touched by his story, Stephen's story. You know, when he was telling me you were in Kenyatta, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So it's been there for how many days?
Since date 2nd.
Date 2nd.
Yeah.
The bill is
80,000.
80,000.
Yeah.
Wow. But then now that you take care every evening, when do you go to work? Now, do you even go to work now that?
No. Okay. About my work, I'm a boda rider. Na pikipiki naendesha ni ya mtu na ni ya loan. So wakati nilikuwa na hii shida, pikipiki ilibidi tu iendelee kufanya kazi sababu inalipwa daily. So mwenyewe alichukua na alitafuta mwingine aendelee.
Oh, so normally your work is kuendesha boda?
Yes.
So because of this, that is you can. But then how do you survive? Okay, we should not ask that. So should get what is the terms of the loan? How much do you pay to get a pikipiki on loan so that you pay pole maybe?
Okay, for now, loan walipandisha deposit Kwa sahi deposit ni 25,000.
Okay.
Then
So if you get 25,000,
yes,
you go and pay,
yeah,
and you're given a motorbike on loan.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you pay is the rest in installments.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you can manage.
I can manage to get 500 per day.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh. You unapata unless around Dandora.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, I brought Stephen here because I wanted us to get feel of this story, and this is one we can do this. We've always done this. This is 80,000. Today's date 14. If you give yourself 1 week, Friday. Yeah, so let's try. Let's do a 50 shillings challenge. I've decided not to. I'm going to share the number, nobody's number, because of a bit of that disturbance, but I am also asking those who can be willing to reach out to me. My number is there. I'll directly connect you with him so that whichever God has blessed you with, at least I talk. So Mama amekaa hospitali for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you guys are young couples, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, and may God bless you for being a father to this child. I know it's really touching. It's really touching the heart, and I believe that as Bold family, this will come to an end. I know we will find a way. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Sawa. Asante. Aya.